What's happening, yo? Okay, so we're back off the back of a victory in our last game. This is day 13, I want to say, or day 12 of the 1000 elo climb. If you're new here, I suck. The big one at chess. We're trying to get to 1000 elo. So what we're doing is we're playing 30-minute rapids to give Numbnuts a little bit more time to think about his next move. So what I want to do really now is I want to get some consistency. You know what I mean? Like, because I keep winning, losing, and we're sort of averaging between, I want to say, 550 and 650 elo. We need to be getting beyond 700 elo now. You know what I mean? We need to be staying above that. Doesn't help when we're consistently getting messages from chess.com saying, here's some more elo, you got done, you were cheated. Anyway, can't just keep blaming them, Max. God damn. Let's get into this. Okay, so we're currently sat at 650 elo, which ain't too shabby chavvy. Let's get into this. Okay, so we're playing with blacks against a 566 elo. Surely, Bassi, we can do some damage here, guys. Okay, so let's keep it basic. Develop our pieces. Try and gain the battle for Middle Earth. No hanging pieces. One attacker, one defender. Let's see what he does. Let's dance to his tune for a little bit, you know what I mean? Let's keep an eye on his weaknesses. What I have been playing, if you're new here, is my own opening, which I've created, called the Pony Prevention. Which, if you're new here, is basically preventing the knight from jumping in. The way we do that, simple. Push a pawn. Leave the pawn on, what are they called? Outposts. On the outpost. Just basically stalling the knight from being able to do anything. So I'll probably do that right now. Just to prevent this knight from being able to jump in. So by pushing the pawn on f7 to f6, I'm going to obviously add a second defender to my pawn on e5, but I'm also going to prevent the knight from jumping in. Yeah, the bishop can swing down and take my knight, but simple pimple, take him out. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to do that for now. The odds are you're not going to learn anything from me. You know what I mean? I'm just a beginner. And I'm trying to get to 1000 elo. How difficult can it be? So he's castled nice and early. You know what I mean? Fair play. He's developing his pieces. He's not playing stupid. We need to be doing the same. So what's the best way of doing this? We don't want to fall behind on development. So I say we just get a bishop out. I don't want to move it to b4 because all he's got to do is drop a pawn and then I've got to move again, more stalling. So I'm thinking maybe just develop, but bide our time. We got half an hour. So maybe just bring it to d6, bit of protection, and then also being protected. You know what I mean? Nice pyramid. Three defenders. Okay. So some people, like I've said before, say the bishop is better than the knight. But then why are they worth the same points? This is what I can't wrap my head around. And then you watch videos and people are saying, well, basically because the knight can dart from one side of the board to the other. It can cover like the bishop, numerous angles. Whereas the knight, to get to the other side of the board. Takes like 3 or 4 moves. But at the same time, I like the operation of what a knight can do. You know what I mean? Like the squares it can cover by just being there. So I don't understand this. Never trade a bishop for a knight. Like I don't believe in that rule myself. Right. So what's he done? He's basically pushed his pawn forward. I think he's done that basically to give his queen room to breathe. I want to continue. Okay, so he's also in doing that move. The idea behind that was probably a trade pieces because that's what we have to do eventually. So why not both get a piece off the board? He's also prevented me from being able to castle that side. So with that in mind, what I want to do now is try to keep these pawns on their squares and then try and long castle. So enable for me to be able to do that, I need to get my bishop out the way, push the pawn the get my bishop out the way, push the pawn forward, get my knight out, get my queen out. There's a lot to before I can castle, but before I can do that, maybe I don't want to lose my second knight, so I don't want to put it on the d4 square because then he could take it with his knight and then I'm both knights down. But I like using my knights on outposts. So maybe I push this bishop forward now. Free the pawn. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Keeping all my pieces in close proximity just for now. And my side of the boards. The way I'm trying to think is like, if this was genuine war and these were real soldiers, I wouldn't just send a battalion out on his own, would I? Because he's going to get annihilated by, you know, an entire army. So I need to creep in tactically. Easier said than done. Maybe that's something I need to develop as my identity playing chess, which is exactly what I've just described. So you're not going to push down because I can take. But why else would you have moved that? Have you moved that so you can bring this knight in? Pardon me. If I was to push this pawn, you have got way too many. But I just push it forward one. I complete the pyramid. Free the bishop. Get my queen out. Castle. Finish the development before I even consider going to war. Why am I still... I've just said everything I've just said. And I'm not even... Then my primary thought isn't get your castling done. You know what I mean? Idiot. Okay. So now they're trying to bait my pawns out. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty tempting. Because if he jumps his knight in, I can't do anything about it. Whereas if I push my pawn forward, that's knight prevention. But then, obviously, I open up this file and then castleing's out the window. He's castled. I haven't. Another option. Hop my knight in now with the back in of the bishop. He can't take it because... Oh, sorry. Yeah, because my bishop will take it. Another thing is, he's going to try and use these two to break down this side. I could just trade a piece for a piece and break down whatever attack he's planning on with these two, which I think I'm going to do. Pony prevention. Express. Because I want to get my castle in to the safe zone. That's priority right now. Because he's safe. And while he's safe and mine isn't, he can attack whichever way he wants and my king's exposed. I've always got that in the back of my head and he hasn't. So, yeah, let's continue that development. Now, if I put this bishop on e6, if he tries push, he can't push that pawn now. Not right now anyway, because he'll leave his queen exposed. And then all I have to do is get my queen out, complete the castle, and then join the battle. And we both lost the bishop, we both lost the knight in the process. So I'm no better off, I'm no worse off. If I had to choose, if someone said to me, look, here's a chess game, can you take over? Who do you want to be with these current positions, black or white? I'll be black. Look at the pyramid scheme going on. Look at white. You know what I mean? SpongeBob scatterbobbed. So yeah, I'm sort of happy with that. Okay, right now he could fling down with his queen, actually, which I didn't see, which I don't like. So I think what I'm going to do, knights on the rim are grim. However, I seen a little tip. If your second move is to move the knight back off the rim, it's all right to bounce off the rim. You know what I mean? To get to your destination. And I'm looking at this particular scenario and I'm going, okay, so if I jump the knight onto a5, two things are going to happen. First thing, I'm going to protect the pawn on b7 so that the queen can't come down and prevent my castling. Not only that, though, it's going to put pressure on his queen. And now his queen has to move. Let's do it. And there's no immediate threat of an attack on my knight. If he was to come here and put me in check, I could bring my queen up and offer the trade. And then if he comes to me, I can just drop my bishop down. He takes my queen, I take his, complete my castling. He's doing everything he can to stop me from castling right now. I admire it. Okay. Another option. Oh, yeah. I might lose my knight here because I'm in check. The question is, do I just... Yeah, do you know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna lose my my knight, but unfortunately, you win some, you lose some. Soldiers have to die sometimes. This to me feels like a guy who has got an opening, to be fair, that he continuously uses. Hang on a minute. Even if I long castle now, it's not really going to benefit me while his queen's there. That is a hanging piece, however, which I could just take. Yeah. It's time to start letting off some rounds at this full. And the reason I say I feel like this is an opening that you use often, because look, he's only burnt up 5 minutes of his time, and look what he's done. And it's taken me 10 minutes to try and slow him down and think about things. I still have a nice pawn structure. Okay, well, I don't want to lose another piece. Pardon me, for no reason. However, this knight is still at bay. Still can't really do nothing. Can't jump in. On the rim, that's about as far as he can get. And then even if he comes down again, he's useless at this point. So there's no point me bringing down the bishop and coming up this way, because I'm just disturbing the piece. I'm thinking just drop beneath the queen. And then if the queen takes, obviously I can take at that point as well. That gives me the time to get the castle in and then join the rooks and maybe try and get an attack going this way. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I've got to try and utilize the fact that his pawn structure isn't very solid. Okay. So he's trying to gain the battle for Middle Earth. He's got his rook involved as well. But if I just move forward one and apply pressure to his queen has to move. Oh no, I've just lost. I just lost the backing of my bishop. That's what that was doing. That was its sole purpose, and now I've stopped it. What an absolute idiot. What a fool. At this point, I might just push my king forward one. Oh my god, he didn't even see it. He didn't see it. This is what he's trying to do. Take. Take. Look at all that pressure. Don't like that at all. Think about this now. Think about this. Move my queen. Take, 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 take. I like that. I like that. He could push actually. Unless I could somehow... Another thing is, and I was talking about it, I was going to bring it in if the knight prevention wasn't working. And it was basically to do with the bishops. He's only got one bishop left. His bishop's on blue square. Right now, that's gold dust for him because look how many pawns I've got on blue squares. If I can get all them on white squares, that bishop's basically rendered useless. So basically, yeah, he's attacking me queen now, but now he's just lost that momentum that he had. All that momentum he had for the battle for Middle-earth is gone. It's gone. He's basically just released the pressure. That threat that he had, the backing of that rook, if he would have took my piece, is gone. Because now he's blocking his own way. So now if he comes in, I can just take... I've still got the castle ability, castling ability. And that frees this file. Try and get my pieces across. And yeah, again, mate, I need to try and get my pawns on white squares as long as that bishop's in the game. Another option would be, while that bishop's there, try and get this rook out of the game. Okay. He's just weakened his king. Big time. Because look, take. That's checked just like that. Is this where his opening plan hasn't gone to plan and now he's like, I've never been here before. This doesn't usually happen. I've usually infiltrated down there by now. Is he all out of ideas? Now I take that, and that's check again. Look at this, guys. This makes me feel real good. I don't know about yous. Okay. Okay. Is this where we get that castle in? The problem is now I need to get my rook. Do you know what? Is it time to just send these two? You know what? I'm going to push my king forward, get both my rooks over, and initiate an attack. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And this right now is why it's important to keep a solid pawn structure. Because he came at me full throttle, and I know it's not over, and I'm not getting cocky, and I probably will still lose this. However, this is the problem with him. He threw the kitchen sink at me, and when his knockout punch didn't work, then what? Now, if he moves this queen, that's a free pawn. Okay, now he wants to trade. Well, that ain't happening, Potter. Just throwing a check again. I'm not giving him that momentum. Right, okay, I think this is what might happen here. If I drop down, he might swing his queen across to block. And if he does, I fling up and take his rook, putting him in check again. But then he might just move. Either way, that rook's going. Night. And you know, before when I was like, how can I get rid of the rook in the corner, the boy in the corner? Hello. In fact, whoa, Jose. Whoa. Look what we have down here. Golden Penny. Golden Penny. Wowzers. I just made a mess in my trousers. He's just lost 20 elo. Can we see that? You see up here? I don't know if you can see. Like, up where his name is. Oh, there. Yeah, there. Where the mouse is. You see the mouse? It's on my face. Move across. Up that. Right there. 20. Minus 20 elo. But I've only gained 15. Why is that? Let me move this camera out the way a sec, so you can actually see what's going on in this game review. How well did I play then? 67.1. Not too shabby chavvy. I played like an 850, apparently. 1 blunder, 2 mistakes, 7 bests, and 2 greats. Well, goddamn. Let's see what it was.
Opening with the king's pawn controls the e5 is a knight f3 develops, knight c6 develops. The Italian game starts with bishop c4, which attacks the f7 pawn and prepares to castle quickly.
Okay, and which he did. So he did the Italian opening, apparently. And he did castle straight away. Remember when I said, I was like, bro, he's just castled well quick. Like, he's got his pawns out, he's developing fast. The Italian. So how do you do the Italian? King's pawn, knight out, bishop out, quick development.
Your better option was to develop a knight off its starting square. They chose kingside castling, getting their king out of the center and activate. You are bringing. Their best option was to attack a pawn chain.
Yeah, see the pawn chain.
A logical capture. Their best option. Your bishop has more scope from this square. Their queen moves into the game. This prepares your bishop for development. They develop a new piece. Your better option was to develop further. Takes back. You had a chance to play something better. They slipped up a bit here. Good job stepping in to defend your pawn. Their better move was to move a queen to safety. You are now able to kick a queen.
I could, but I don't want to move them pawns, did I?
Oops, you gave up a knight.
Yeah, I did.
Capturing your hanging knight. Good job, that's what I would. Their pawn attacks your bishop. This moves your bishop to a safer square. Attacking. You've just allowed your bishop to be taken
I
without
know,
a
I
fight.
can't believe you didn't
Your
see
best
that.
move was to win material through a tactic. Their better move was to capture a free bishop. This move is okay, but they kick your queen with a pawn, forcing it to. This move is okay, but not what I would have played.
That was his undoing. Check this, right? Check this pressure he's got, right? He takes. I take. He takes. I take. Oh, no. I stopped all that by moving this queen in, sorry. Because without the queen there, then he comes down with his rook. He can bring his queen down, get her involved. Like, the two pressure of that. And he lost all that momentum.
They kick your queen with a pawn. Clearly, you don't want to leave your queen, and you get a chance to win material through a fork.
I have no idea. He made two rookie moves.
Nice fork. You'll be winning material. That was the only. Yes, that was the only move. Your best move was. They've made a mistake, and their rook is now lost.
Yep.
Nice. You found a way to win a rook.
Yep.
They stopped the check by interposing a piece. You're continuing down the road to checkmate.
Lovely
that rook was yours for the taking.
Lovely stuff. But you know what I'm saying? I was by no stretch playing that well. 850 elo it put me at. That's how I was playing, which is obviously better than 650. Or what are we on now? 658. But yeah, like, I need to be more vigilant when I'm moving pieces. What does that piece do before? What's that piece's sole purpose? Like that pawn, for example, that was protecting the bishop. I just moved it forward trying to kick the queen and totally left it hanging. Need to be more vigilant and ask that final question before moving a piece. What is that piece protecting? What is it currently doing on this square? What will it no longer be doing when I move it? I need to get that in my head. But yeah, fully enjoyed that game. Yeah. If you've enjoyed this episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one on the road to 1,000 elo. Let's go!